Hello friends, and welcome to the video. So somebody put a comment this week, kind of, I think a bit frustrated. They said, if the purpose for existence is experience, why are we asking questions about it? Why are we trying to find out what it is? And then they said, what are we even doing here? And I think not really what are we doing here on Earth. I think they meant more like, what are we doing watching these videos? So, well, I did think the same. So I understand it's a good question. I remember watching Rupert Spira a long time ago and being kind of convinced that everything arises in awareness, that there's nothing outside awareness. And I just thought for a second, but what's the point? Is it really just about replacing one idea with another and then continuing? But the idea is that if I won't go into all the supernatural stuff, so we're not going to talk about manifesting or flying or levitating or who knows, superpowers and cities, but I'll try to just keep it down to what are the fruits of enlightenment if it's just a matter of understanding that everything is consciousness and the body and the separate person that you think you are is arising consciousness, as is everyone else, and that is a mistake, that you're this separate person. So just based on that, just based on the idea that enlightenment is you understanding that you are the awareness in which everything arises. Yes, it's going to be Advaita Vedanta, so you are Sat-Chit-Ananda, you are existence itself, consciousness, knowing itself, and bliss, so joy, peace, truth, beauty, love, goodness, all of these things. Now, so what do we get? What are the fruits of enlightenment? Now, the first thing is you are śāntam, you are peace itself. This is a peace, they always say, the peace that passeth understanding from the Bible, that this is your true being. This is what's underneath all of this mess, all of this feelings that you're this person. Underneath that is this still, perfect silence, this openness, a fullness as well as an emptiness. And this is a stable peace because it's the subject. It doesn't change. Only the objective world changes. This stable peace doesn't depend on your mood. It exists underneath and through all moods, this peace. And because we don't see ourselves as being a separate person, we have a freedom from fear, because the fear is a natural thing that we've developed through evolution to protect our body. But when we realize that this is just the mind creating this image of being a separate thing, we feel this freedom from the fear of death, yes, but also from the fear of all these little fears that make us into horrible people, that make us selfish and greedy, and these things that keep us afraid most of the time and worrying what we're doing with our lives, or what did we do with our past, if we could change something. When you remove the I from the situation, you naturally have this compassion that arises, this compassion, this charity, that doesn't depend on people telling you, thou shalt not kill, don't do this. It's just you are not there. And the action, and you have this shared being. So your action is automatically compassionate to everyone. I think you hold on to the idea of the ego, but you transcend it. So in some ways, you're in both worlds, certainly while you have a body until it drops off. And you see other people and you just know that they are you too. And this compassion automatically arises. We have a non-attachment as well, a non-attachment to enjoyment. But that means we can enjoy things, but we don't cling to them. We when something comes, something nice, it just comes, and we appreciate it just for what it is, for that moment. And when it goes, there's no clinging on to it. There's no worrying when it will end, or will I ever get it back again? This is something that we still enjoy. Enjoyment and positive feelings are true nature. And when we're in this manifest world, all these beautiful things come to us, but there's none of this worry that always comes along with something nice. We also have if we think that we're not separate, then there's a humility, there's no defensiveness that we normally have about my ego and trying to protect who I think I am and make sure that I'm equal to others and all this stuff. There's this, and because of this, because there's none of this machinery of the ego creating the separate self, we have an integrity, a sincerity, that it just, and virtue that comes without being forced. Everything just comes up naturally. We have one of the things that I think is really interesting is this idea in Zen and Taoism of perfect action. So when you are not there as a separate person acting on the benefit of this separate vulnerable thing, it's got all these fears and very afraid and worried, then you are the moment, and the action arises from the moment. You are sincere, you're honest about what's going on, the fact. This is what Jean Klein says. You see the moment as it is. You see that you accept the fact. And when you accept the fact, the action arises automatically. You're not the actor, but the action arises in the moment, spontaneously and authentically, from the best thing that it needs right then and there. Not based on predefined rules of morality or what you should always do. No, everything happens according to the situations that's there in front of you. There are no rules. The perfect action, the moral, good action comes from each moment, because there is no past. There is past, it's in your memory. And in general, we have this feeling of unity, a feeling of wholeness. They say purnam, fullness. It is kind of an emptiness because you are the subject. But again, you are everything. You fill everything. This thing that people talk about, this union with God, this unity that it completes you. This is what traditions say is the goal in life. We all think the goal is to get married and get a house and have kids and get a car and a job and all those things, and don't get in trouble. Don't ruin anybody else's life. These things that we want, we've got in previous lives. So I bring the previous lives in. And now we see that these things are not bringing us satisfaction. You get the house and it's not the thing that's going to make you happy. You start to see as you mature spiritually that, in fact, none of the contents of your awareness can make you happy, because you are happiness itself. You are the thing that gives happiness to everything. You're the thing that gives everything existence, and you're the thing that gives value to everything. It comes from you. And if you don't believe in reincarnation, which is fine, it happens every day. It happens in all these things that we want. We really want something, we save up and buy it, and in the end it's forgotten that we have this need, and when we get it, that need drops, and we are left with our natural being. And that natural being is peace and happiness and joy, and that's what we think was transferred from the object to us. But it wasn't, there was no magic movement from happiness from the object to us. And you can see this when you, a useful thing to do is just observe what happens when you get something that you want, and just watch as the happiness disappears in the object. The object loses its happiness, loses the thing, the reason why you want it in the first place. This meaning, this empty meaning that are in objects, is replaced with a real meaning, a deep, profound meaning that is you yourself, is existence itself, it's everything here that's happening and that's arising. And this, all these things, I mean, this is the most important thing for me. And all these things, I'm not enlightened, but all these things, they grow. So it's not even a matter of it all coming at once. It might do, but even along the path, these things grow in you as you look more into it. You do develop this meaning that can't be shaken, because it doesn't depend on any of this changing stuff out there. So that's why I'm here. Tell me why you're here if you want. Please do put a comment. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to explore. Some people like fine wines, cigars, football, video games. And I just get lots of satisfaction, a richness from exploring these ideas. And I'm sure a lot of you do too. And of course, there's the enlightenment to come. So thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.